And welcome to Cover 2 TV. It's a division that me and Ste are very, very interested in. It's the NFC North. We're going to kick it off
with the leaders, winners. Is that the winners?
With the winners.
With the winners
of the NFC North last season. It pains me to say. The winning team was, of course, the Green Bay Packers. Ste, you've waited a long time to talk about this draft class.
I have.
You've waited so long. It's your time now. You get to talk about your Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, they're winning. We'll mention winners again. Winners. First, so they traded out to the first round. They traded back and then got Kevin King at the top of the second. Apparently, they had tons of offers for people wanting the first pick of the second round, and they decided that the value of having Kevin King was better than taking the extra picks. It's the first time in a long time the Packers have drafted a big corner. If you look on the guys, he done an Instagram, I think it was, and he's standing next to Calvin Johnson, and he's the same size as him pretty much. And I was just, when I seen that picture, I started cheering for joy because for too long the Packers just have been so poor at corner. The reason they never got to the Super Bowl last year was pretty much because the Atlanta Falcons had their way with the
and Rodgers isn't good enough.
Yeah, I don't know. The quarterback's average as well. He's
lucky, I think.
He's mid-range. He's Kirk Cousins too. Kev King, big physical corner. That's exactly what they need. They really needed someone out there. They went and signed Devon House back in the summer as well. Basically, I think they realised he needed to be a bit more physical. Julio Jones throwing defenders on the floor, for example, wasn't great to watch. They drafted a couple of guys, Randall and Rollins a few years ago, and they've been inconsistent at best. They lost Sam Shields with the concussion issue. They had to get a cornerback, and when they traded down, I was thinking, what's Ted do? And I hope he's got someone in mind.
Did you ever think it was going to be him?
I wanted to be him. When I knew who was left at the first, on the second day, I was thinking him or maybe Quincy Wilson, maybe. But I was delighted when they took King, and I like about him as well. Very quickly, he stayed for the draft. He was the only one who didn't get picked in the first round, who didn't go home. He stayed. I think that shows character. The fact that he stayed and he wanted his moment.
Or he booked his hotel for 2
nights. I was going to say, buy one get one free on his hotel. But he stayed. Some a lot of them left. He felt a bit embarrassed and stuff. He was like, no, I'm still proud to be a pick. I want this moment. I think he's great. I'm really, really excited.
You think he's great, Steve, but you thought everyone's great so far. We've talked about so many players, and you've said all of them are great.
Cornerbacks, I think it was one of the best cornerback classes I've seen. Some of them are going to fail. Some of them are going to fail. In college, you can only judge what you see, can't you? And in college, he's physical. That's what we need. That's what this Packers actually they needed so much. And moving on to second, Josh Jones. He's basically, they let Micah Hyde go. They couldn't afford him, or they chose not to pay him.
Do you think he's going to be that cornerback and safety then?
He's a hybrid, yeah. He can do both, and he'll be that. Dom Capers likes moving Hyde around to bit of corner, bit of safety, bit of pass rush and stuff like that.
Can I question you on Dom Capers, Steve?
Please do.
What do you think of him?
He does me head in. I think
how's he still on the job there?
Yeah, I think his scheme is so complex, which is fine. But then the Packers like young players, they draft and develop philosophy. So his scheme is kind of at odds with Ted's philosophy, and that it's a scheme that requires savvy, requires all that kind of stuff, and yet that we keep drafting young players and stuff. I think there's a combination to be had. I like Josh Jones. I think he's a decent player. And again, he won't be on the field all the time. He's not a starting safety because of how hard Clinton Dix is and Morgan Burnett is, but he will play the hard role of again mentioned nickel and dime and stuff. You can put him on the field, and is he a safety? Is he a corner? He's probably a safety. But he is that kind of. He's basically the hard replacement.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot down to your fifth pick of the draft. Actually, round 434th pick overall. Look, you drafted 3 running backs.
Yeah, we needed to.
You love this guy, Jamal Williams.
Yeah, I think he'll be the starter eventually. They keep saying Ty Montgomery's the starting running back, and that's fine. I don't believe that's true. I think he's decent running back. He's a receiver who we've converted. Christy Michael got booted out the door, thankfully, because he was rubbish. I like Jamal Williams. He reminds me. He's got not size wise, but he'll play the role that Eddie Lacy and James Starks played in that. Ty will be the guy who maybe gets the outside runs and the dump offs and stuff.
But anything between the tackles.
Starks, when Lacy was down, Starks was the guy who went between the tackles. He's more in that. He's more Stark size than Lacy size, because Lacy is like my size at the minute. but yeah, I think the Packers need a running game. You need a running game when you Adams at his best. I think when Eddie Lacy was at his best he was a genius last
year. So many quarterbacks are.
Yeah, you need it because it keeps teams honest, it keeps the ball,
You need to get as close to that 50-50 run pass as possible, and not having the running back means that you're not able to do that, and you reveal your tendencies.
Yeah, we struggled. And Ty did a good job, Tyron Gomez did a good job, he's not a running back, and teams didn't respect him as a running back too much, so I like Jamal Williams.
Okay, we'll move on to the 9-7 Detroit Lions. First pick of the draft for them, pick 21 overall, Jared Davis, linebacker out of Florida. Had an ankle injury, didn't he?
Yeah, he missed a lot of time with the injury, but his tape's good. You know what I mean? Again, we mentioned on the Philadelphia show about a kid mimicking the city or looking like the city. He got a bit of a Detroit guy feel to it. You know what I mean? Big physical guy, strong. They need the linebacker help. You know, their defensively, the Lions are terrible. It's absolutely awful. The lack of talent they've got is staggering at times. What the good thing is, again, all 3 downs. He can cover a bit, he can pass rush a bit, he can play the run. Good solid pick and one that he needed. You know, people don't value linebacker that high, but I think the value was good at that where he was.
Okay, we'll move on then to one of the slowest men in the draft, Jalon Tabor.
Yeah.
Tabor, is it?
Yeah,
sorry.
Tabor, yeah.
What do you make of this guy? I mean, he ran a 4.62, and then he actually ran slower at his pro day.
Yeah, he got to like a 4.7, which is bizarre.
I mean,
leaks
come on.
Apparently leaks come out that, we had a sore hamstring and stuff, which is fine, but whether you buy it or not, who knows. His tape looks good. You know what I mean? His tape looks fine, but then you can't be 4.6, 4.7 corner in the NFL. It doesn't work. You're not gonna succeed.
So is this guy going to have to stand 5 yards off the line?
Yeah, I think
is that the only way that he can deal with it?
I think if he was that slow, I think it's a bad pick. I think he's a poor player. Before I had him ranked on my top 50 list, I thought he was quite high because his tape, he doesn't play slow, which is fine. But you're playing against the college players.
These are elite athletes. You're moving up against.
You're playing against some of the teams in this division, teams in this conference and stuff. The top players. 4.6, 4.7 is not going to cut it as a cornerback. So they obviously think it might have been injury related, and for them I hope it was, because otherwise it could be a terrible pick. Hopefully, I say for the Lions, not for me. I wouldn't mind them failing, personally speaking.
Same here.
Yeah, as you say yourself. But I would like...
I want Rodgers to fail more.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So
it's not going to happen.
Probably not. So they got Darius Slay on one side.
I hate Rodgers, you know.
You keep saying
I really hate him.
Chris, calm. Detroit Lions, Tease Tabor. Slow. He's going to play opposite Darius Slay's a stud. So if he can get...
What does it really...
Poor Darius fans. If that is his time, he's busting. I'm telling you, he's a bust if he's that slow. So they must think he's not. We'll see. I'm not convinced now. I think, having seen that time, I thought he might fall a lot. He fell to the top of the mid top of the second. I'm not sure. I think that time is a huge red flag.
Okay, well, we'll move on to their 4th pick of the draft, 127 overall. Michael Roberts. Look, the Lions needed a red zone threat, and they've probably got one with this tight end.
Yeah, so it allows them to play 2-time sets. Eric Ebron's still there for 1 more year at least. He's underwhelmed. As a first round pick, he's underwhelmed. He hasn't performed what you'd expect him to. Decent player, but not first round talent. Roberts will allow them to get 2 tight ends on the field, and he is a red zone threat. He's a good pass catcher. So the Lions, the way they've worked their team with their systems, they dink and dunk with Matt Stafford. It kind of feels a bit counterintuitive to me at times, because Matt Stafford's he's a big physical, big arm and stuff. But he has been better in that offense. The offense in Jim Bob Cous's offense has been good. They've pretty much done what they need to do. Again, it's counterintuitive, but he is a red zone threat. They need one. They don't score enough. Okay. Basically, they were 9-7 last year, but their record wasn't indicative of how they played. They had a lot of Matt Stafford magic in the last couple of seconds and stuff. They could easily have been 6-10, 5-11. It was that close. They need to score more. And Roberts, again, 2 tight end sets. Good red zone threat. And I think whether it's straight away, 6'4", 270, big physical guy, he might not play. You might not see him straight away, but as he learns and develops, he's only come out of a small school, but he's at Toledo. Yeah, Toledo. Once he's up and going, you'd think that they might incorporate him more, and I think Matt Stafford might like him, and I think he might eventually overtake Ebron.
He's a big guy as well, 6'4", man. I mean, you just said it, but that's going to give Stafford some options, isn't it? Especially, if the pocket collapses, you can see that big guy open out in space and stuff. So for me, it could work out to be a very, very, very shrewd draft pick for the Detroit Lions.
I agree, mate.
Okay, so we're going to move on now to the Minnesota Vikings, 3rd in the division.
It could have been worse.
Record.
Could have been 4.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't too upset with that last season.
8 and 8
I know
was what happened.
I know, but we started so well as well, didn't we? That's the thing, like, and that's what really sort of taints it for me, is that we did start so well, but ultimately, when you lose your quarterback, guy comes in, has to learn a new scheme.
The worst offensive line in the league.
Yeah, it's tough, mate. It's really tough. Like, look, we've needed reinforcements. We've got reinforcements. The first one we took was Dalvin Cook, of course.
Yeah, second round.
So, look, I know we had to give that first round pick away. We'd have loved to have that back, but ultimately we had to put some eggs in last season's basket.
For Sam Bradford.
Yeah, we had to.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and the thing is, you give that pick away for Bradford, which is fine, but you kind of got a first round talent in the second round. Can't almost balance it off. Dalvin Cook's great if healthy. The reason he fell
is made to tits.
Basically, he's got off-field issues. You know, get him away from Florida. I think that's important. Injury issues are there as well, but talent-wise, mate, I think he's brilliant. I think he's absolutely superb. I think I had him as the third running back in the class. I think just behind Fournette and McCaffrey. I think he's brilliant. Yeah, excellent pick. And you lose Adrian Peterson and you bring in Latavius Murray. Well, obviously they're not that huge on Latavius Murray, are they? Cook's the starter.
Yeah.
Sooner or later he gets in and he's great. And catch passes, he can block, he can run, he can do everything. He's the modern NFL back. His issue might be the line, and we move on to Pat Ilfine in the centre in the next pick. They needed to do something. Yeah. If you're going to take your running back one, fine, give him, he needs a chance, because that line was awful. You know, that the reason that the Vikings were crap last year at the end, the line was awful. I thought Sam Bradford played well.
I like him as a quarterback.
Oh, mate, considering his
injuries, you know, they've harmed his career, but ultimately when he's on the field, he's a very, very good quarterback.
People underrate him. I think he's better than Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's better, for example. But yeah, they had no chance. The guy was getting smashed everywhere. They couldn't protect him. So how can you run? If Adrian Peterson can only get 1 or 2 yards of carry behind that line, Dalvin Cook's not going to do. So you've got to do something. So taking a centre there, and I think we took a guard in round 5. They probably start. You'd imagine, because they've got to because the line was so poor.
It was so poor last season. So for me, Pat's coming out of college, and he was one of the most technical centres that you can get, and one of the guys probably for the last few years now where this guy understands the position. Now it is, we've talked about it so many times over the last few videos, it's very difficult to judge what like offensive linemen are going to do when they come out of college and go into the NFL, but this guy gives us the best chance of success, I believe, out of the centres in the draft.
Yeah, so you might see Dalvin Cook doing a lot of runs down the middle, might you, and stuff. Again, it wasn't the greatest line class, I don't think. Elfine's a decent pick. Third round.
Johnson.
Jamal Johnson, who you just picked the tackle then. He's basically Sherry Floyd insurance, I think. How many times do we hear on the news, and we kind of dismiss it, ex-player will go for surgery. Oh, he'll be fine. And Sherry Floyd's the one unlucky guy where something's gone wrong. You know, apparently his damage, the surgery didn't go well. He might have nerve damage, he might not play again, which is horrendous. You know, so bad for him. And the Vikings are, you know, they're built on the rotation of defensive linemen, aren't they? As you know, some absolute studs there. But the reason they're studs is because they get to go in and out. Yeah. And take Sherry Floyd out, who's a great player. I feel sorry, you know, so bad for him if he can't play again. Unfortunately, as a business, you've got to say next man up, haven't you? Unfortunately, it's harsh to say that, and that's what Josh Johnson is probably there for. Jamal Johnson, is probably there for. As a case of if Floyd can't get back on the field.
And we had loads of picks actually this draft, you know, I mean, what was the total? 9 or 10 picks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 picks.
And you traded some of them away, you traded a few away for Cook, didn't you?
So round 5, the 180th pick overall, we went Danny Isidore, who's the guard that we wanted to talk about. Listen, we've talked about it already. We had massive O-line issues. Day 1 starter or a few weeks down the line?
Who knows, mate? Listen, I'd give myself a chance to start him. You know, who knows? I would like to think he's better than what they've got. Because if he's not, there's issues there, isn't there? I would like them to come in and get in. The issue is you start a new guard and a new centre, both rookies at the same time. That's a risk, isn't it? As we know. So they might not do it. They might rotate in that. But eventually, you'd like to hope that even as a 5th round pick, he improves, because basically the Vikings line held them hostage. They couldn't win. It's impossible to win with that offensive line. You can't do it. For your sake, I hope they both come in and play well.
Okay, and we've gone with the next pick of the draft, actually Bucky Hodges, tight end, 6'6", do you expect to see 2 tight end sets now?
Well, you've got Kyle Rudolph, haven't you? So you'd imagine...
Exactly. This is a guy that... Let's be honest, Kyle Rudolph's a massive talent, I think, anyway. I've loved him. But I don't think we've seen the production from him that we would have expected to see at this stage of his career.
Yeah, maybe that is a bit scheme-based as well. What Hodges... he's massive. He's huge, 6'6", you know what I mean? And I thought he'd go higher than I'm surprised he didn't. But again, it was a deep tight end class, which kind of pushed everyone down a bit as well. I would like to think that maybe... him and Rudolph can do a bit of blocking as well. You might need them to, mightn't you? Especially, again, we mentioned line play. But if they're both on the field, I imagine the Vikings are hoping that opposition don't know if they're going to run or pass. And in that situation again, you know what I mean? It might keep the safeties honest a bit more. It might slow down the pass rush an inch just to give Sam Bradford a bit more time to get the ball out. Red zone as well, mate. 6 foot. Defend a 6'6" guy in the red zone. So, you know, if he shows the physicality that he showed at Virginia Tech, he could be really good. He won't be on the field a lot, but I imagine when you get down to the red zone, he could be a good touchdown threat, which again, very much needed.
Okay, we'll move on to the Chicago Bears. Only 3-13. They stunk. They stunk last season.
They were terrible.
Everybody knows they traded up for Trubisky. Look, there's so much been said since the draft. Yeah. So as much as we need to talk about it, let's not tread over too much. Everybody's read. Everybody's seen everything about it.
Let's forget about the trade. Let's talk about the player. The trade is the trade. Yeah. It is what it is.
Well said.
It is what it is. They think he's worth a third in a couple of seconds or whatever, and they got a couple of them back when they don't know the change later on. If he's good, doesn't matter anyway. He's worth everything. And I'm not sure that it's a good spot for him because he needed to go somewhere where he could sit, and that's fine, and he will sit behind Mike Glennon, and that's great. But Mike Glennon's new there, and Mike Glennon hasn't played much, and he needs reps. Yeah. So how do you split the reps between Trubisky and Glennon now? If he'd have went to somewhere where he could have sat for a year or two, there was talk maybe Kansas City, you know, where Smith is the starter, and you could take a few of Alex Smith reps away from him in practice, and it wouldn't be that big a deal. You could take a few off Drew Brees, you could take a few off Eli.
You're not taking reps off Glennon.
He needs them because he hasn't played there. It's a new scheme for him, it's a new system, and he's been a backup for behind Jameis Winston for 2 years. He needs the reps. They're going to have a job on their hands as a player, getting them both up to speed. They need to get Glennon up to speed so they can play now and try and do something to save. You know, John Fox needs to save his job at the end of the day. He's probably the coach who's on the hot seat more than anyone else. But Mitch Trubisky's played 13 college games. He needs the reps as well. It'll be a fine balance. Again, not a huge fan in terms of where they took him. I think it was high. I think the value was too high. He needs to sit and develop. Even no matter what happens for the Bears, you'd like to think they're going to sit and let him at least do something because he isn't ready yet. And I'm surprised that they took him this high in this draft. They must love him. Ryan Pace must love him. John Fox does report that he might not. There was a bit of divide there. Either way to the year. If I was them, next year's quarterback, and I'm going to be doing some videos later over the summer on next year's potential quarterback class. Already there looks like 3 or 4 or 5 great names who are better than him. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a free agent. Kirk Cousins is going to be a free agent. I was surprised that they took Mitch Trubisky when they did. They must love him. They must like him. I understand it. Personally, I don't like the pick. But having said that, listen, if he turns out to be
it's worth it. If he's a starter for 10 years in the NFL, it's worth it.
My issue is I would like them to be able to sit and get more reps than he's going to get, and that's the issue they've got over there, and they're going to have to figure that out themselves.
Okay, we'll move on then. From a small school, Ashland, and this is something that the Bears have done actually. They've taken players from Ashland, North Carolina, AT&T and Kutztown. This guy we're going to talk about, 45th pick overall, it's Adam Shaheen.
Yeah, again, say tight end, he's a giant wide receiver. He, 6'6", 280 or something like that. He's a basketball player. He transferred there as a basketball player. And you watch him playing against Ashland, and it is like a guy playing against kids. He's too big, too strong. You just can't get near him. He's like a giant among normal-sized guys. It's really actually quite funny to watch if you get a chance to do it. Athletic, amazing athlete, absolutely amazing athlete. Again, he's someone who needs to develop. He's not going to start. So I don't think, for example, the Bears, who were 3-13, their top 2 picks aren't going to start.
It's worrying.
Well, it's worrying if you're John Fox, because unless someone's told him you're safe for 5 years, which I don't think it is. I think there is a disconnect there between GM and coach. As in the story's gone, that Fox didn't even know they were taking Trubisky 5 minutes before they took him. It is a worry. Shaheen, a matchup nightmare. Don't get me wrong. If he can play and when he gets up to speed, his athletic traits will make him a difference maker. But he has to get there first. Again, for the Bears fans, but they're going to be rubbish this year. Don't rush him in and you know, knock him back 2 or 3 years. Let him develop, because once he's on the field, I mean, how do you defend 6'6" 280? I think Jordan Reed, how good's Jordan Reed being for the Redskins when he's been on the field? That's what Adam Shaheen should be. I've only seen him play against, you know, Division 2, I think it was, for Ashton players. That's a huge step up. Let's see how he looks in the NFL when the lads are smashing his face in. Because he's big, he's going to get jammed, they're going to try and hit him. Again, he's so fun to watch. We'll see how he develops.
Okay, and as we've done with all of the videos so far, we're going to ask for Steve, first of all, who wins the draft class?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. I really like Dalvin Cook. So I'm going to say the Vikings.
Yes! And I will too, because we needed to sort out the O-line, and I hope to goodness that we've actually managed to friggin' do that.
Fingers crossed for you.
Okay, does it change the division?
No, not for me. I'll always back Green Bay. Until Aaron Rodgers and playing, we'll see how we go. But until then, I will always take the Packers. Having said that, I will put the Vikings.
Yes! Come on!
I will say Vikings 2, Lions 3. And the Bears 4th, and I think the Bears might be actually the worst team in the NFC this year.
Yeah, I agree with that, you know, and I agree with the order that you've gone in. Just for the fact that, look, we've managed to get a running back in to help Bradford out. We hopefully have sorted the O-line issues out. And then I think that Bradford having that extra year now will be just more at ease in this scheme and understand it better.
I like him.
He was rushed in late before the season last time around. So for me, the Vikings improve. Yeah. That defence can still be good.
Amazing.
I don't think it'll hit the heights of maybe the early part of the season. I think the pressure might have got to them a little bit, to be honest with you. I think, look, everybody was talking about this is as good as the 85 Bears. And look, over the course of the season, it proved they were nowhere near as good. But that defence is still going to be strong. So for me, Vikings will finish second. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, you know what? They'll do what they do. Aaron Rodgers will get your team into the playoffs regardless, mate. He's unbelievable. Yeah, he's absolutely unbelievable.
You'd bank it out on at least 10 wins, wouldn't you? And that's the thing.
If the Packers manage to get some kind of a defence going consistently over the course of a season, then I'd have them as Super Bowl contenders. Yeah. But the fact for me is that they don't seem to be able to sort those issues out. I don't think they will until they get rid of the defensive.
Yeah, it's a fair criticism, isn't it? I'd like to hope that the first couple of players, I think King hopefully makes the impact that he needs to make, because the corner situation, again, it cost the Packers far too much. Aaron Rodgers is in his prime, and I think he's the best quarterback in the league. I know people might disagree with me there. I think he's amazing. Give him a chance, because you built the offensively, we're fine. You've
got everything.
You don't even need a top 10 defense. You could have the 20th best defense in the league, something around there against the pass, and you'll have a chance with the offense, how good it is. They just need to get there, like I say. I'm not huge on relying on rookies corners, because it very rarely works year one. I think of all the players that have been taken actually for Super Bowl contenders, Kevin King is the one who needs to perform the best for his team to win. Most of the other Super Bowl contenders might be able to get away with it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of pressure on Kevin King to play well and play now and play well. We'll see how he gets on with it, you know what I mean?
Okay, well, if you agree or disagree with anything, of course, let us know in the comments section below. Do get involved in the show. Do give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with your friends, anyone who likes NFL. Do tell them about the channel. We'll be here all summer, bringing you news, views, opinions, everything regards the NFL. We've got some big plans with regards to videos. We're going to be doing like top 10s and all that type of stuff, list videos. Love all of that. We're going to be breaking down some of the specific plays that are used in the NFL as well. So that will all be upcoming in the next few weeks. Hopefully you'll stick around. You'll enjoy the content. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and once again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next videos tomorrow.
Go Packers!